Hello, and good afternoon, and welcome to another live stream here on my page here as we get set for some Major League Baseball playoff action today. Game 1 of the National League Wildcard Series between the Padres and the Cubs, which we'll get to momentarily. But first, let's do this. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for protecting us, and please look over all these players and keep everyone safe, Lord, and just look over us all in your mighty touch in your name, Lord Jesus, I pray. Amen. Padres and Cubs Game 1, National League Wild Card Series as the playoffs are getting underway. Also have one other game going on right now in Cleveland, Game 1 in that series between Detroit and Cleveland. Keep you updated on that score as this game goes on as well. That game is actually heading to the top of the 8th inning. Detroit leading Cleveland 2-1. That game has been quite the pitcher's duel. Gavin Williams and Tarek Skubal, the pitching matchup in that one. And Detroit has a 2-1 Game 1 lead as that game is heading to the 8th inning. But here are the Padres and the Cubs, Game 1 as the National League gets underway. Regular season series between these two teams. They both won 3 games in the regular season series, so it was a split of the 6 games. This should be a very good matchup. Nick Pivetta getting the start on the mound for the Padres. Matthew Boyd getting the start on the mound for the Cubs. Here in Game 1, both teams going with their aces, as you would expect in Game 1 of this series. Also have 2 more series to get underway later on. At 6 o'clock, Red Sox and Yankees from Yankee Stadium, Game 1, and then it wraps up at 9 o'clock Eastern Time out in L.A. with Game 1 between the Dodgers and the Reds. So 2 more wildcard games on this day yet to come. But the Padres and the Cubs, this really of the 4 is could be the most competitive, in my opinion, between here, Padres and Cubs. It was, as mentioned, a split of the 6-game regular season series, as both these teams look to make it deep into the postseason as the 12-team playoffs getting underway. In the National League, the top 2 seeds in the National League, they got the bye into the division series. Number 1 seed is the Milwaukee Brewers, and the number 2 seed is the Philadelphia Phillies. They both earned byes into the division series round. In the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays are the number 1 seed as AL East champions. They got the bye, as did the number 2 seed, the Seattle Mariners. Those 2 teams got the American League byes into the division series round. Wildcard best of 3. Game 1's today, Game 2's tomorrow, and then the, if necessary, Game 3's will be taking place on Thursday, and the division series round getting underway on Saturday. Again, we will keep you updated on that Detroit-Cleveland game. That is still 2-1 Detroit. Tigers batting in the top of the 8th inning. I hope I will be on for a live stream later on for that Red Sox-Yankees game. May miss the very beginning of it, depending on how late this one goes. But definitely we'll have most of that one anyway, the Red Sox and Yankees Game 1 in the Bronx. So you're getting some division matchups in the wild card round, the longtime rivalry between the Red Sox and Yankees and the Detroit-Cleveland AL Central rivals battling in that wild card. With the playoff format the way it is, not a real big fan of the playoff format because, of course, the Yankees having to play in the wild card round as non-division winners. The Yankees tied for the AL East title with the Blue Jays, tied for the American League's best record, yet they're having to play in the wild card round because of the playoff format, and that needs tweaking a little bit in my opinion. But anyway, we'll leave that be. The Cubs clinched a playoff spot about 2 weeks ago with their win in Pittsburgh, but did not play well at all down the stretch after clinching that playoff spot. Right after clinching that playoff spot, they lost 4 straight to the Reds. And then the Mets, of course, we know what the Mets, missing the postseason, the Cubs played them in a series. So the Cubs not so well down the stretch after clinching the playoff berth. Let's see if they can get things back together. Padres lineup looks like this. Tatis, the right fielder, will lead off. First baseman Arias bats second. Machado at third base bats third. Jackson Merrill, the cleanup hitter, the center fielder. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop bats fifth. O'Hearn, the DH, will bat sixth. Sheets in left field bats seventh. Cronenworth at second base will bat eighth. And Fermin, the catcher, bats ninth for the Padres. That is their batting order. Going up against Cubs ace Matthew Boyd. Regular season numbers for Boyd, he went 14-8, ERA of 3.21. He walked 42, struck out 154 and 179 and two-thirds innings. And the first pitch from Wrigley is bounced foul. Tatis hit .268 in the regular season, 25 home runs. He drove in 71 and takes this one inside. That'll even the count a ball and a strike. One pitch on the way to Tatis. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eric Backus is our home plate umpire. Corey Blazier over at first. DJ Rayburn at second. Todd Tinchner at third. Of course, we go with the 6 umpires here in the playoffs as it's now 3-1 to Tatis. Mike Muklinski is in left field. Ben May, the umpire, out in right field. On a 75-degree clear afternoon at Wrigley Field. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, and Tatis will draw a leadoff walk. Actually, I'm sorry, that was a strike. So it's full now, 3-2. Here comes the 3-2 payoff. That's bounced too short on a high hop, throwing over to first to retire Tatis. And that's how this game begins. Swanson fielded the high hop and threw it over to Michael Busch for the first out, and it will bring up Arias, the first baseman for the Padres. Padres batting average leader this year at .292. 8 home runs. He drove in 61. Also the Padres leader in hits this year with 181. Ball 1 outside. .1-0 pitch from Boyd. Ripped foul. That'll even the count a ball and a strike. A packed house at Wrigley Field for Game 1 of this National League Wild Card Series. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hit foul, and that'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Arias. Just underway here in Game 1. Padres the 5 seed in the National League, the Cubs the 4 seed. The 1-2 pitch, that's in the air to left center field, playable out there. Ian Happ fights off the sun and makes the catch for out number 2. And it will bring up Manny Machado. Machado in the regular season hit .275, 27 home runs. He drove in 95. Padres leader in home runs and RBIs this year. He steps up with 2 out, nobody on here in the Padre first. And Boyd delivers to Machado. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch from Boyd to Machado. That's hit to third, and the catch made by Shaw. And the Padres out very quickly, 1-2-3 in the first. Cubs coming up for the first time, bottom 1, no score. Padres starting pitcher Nick Pivetta. Pivetta on the season 13-5, ERA of 2.87. Gave up 50 walks, 190 strikeouts, and 181 and 2/3 innings. Pivetta, the Padres pitching leader in wins and ERA. And he will face this Cubs lineup. Michael Busch at first base will lead off. Horner at second base will bat second. Ian Happ in left field bats third. Tucker, the DH in this game, he's hitting cleanup. Suzuki in right field will bat fifth. Kelly, the catcher, will bat sixth. Pete Crow Armstrong playing center field. He will bat seventh. Dansby Swanson, shortstop, bats eighth. And Matt Shaw at third base rounds out the Cubs batting order and batting ninth. The Brewers and the Phillies are sitting back, getting some rest, waiting to see who they will meet in the division series. Michael Busch leads off the bottom of the first for the Cubs here. Busch in the regular season hit .261, 34 home runs. He drove in 90. Busch was the Cubs leader in home runs this year. As we will get set to see Nick Pivetta and on the mound here in the bottom of the first inning against this Cubs lineup. This is a Cubs team that this season as a whole hit .249. So not a super big hitting team with a .249 average. First pitch, bottom one, is a little upstairs for ball one. Pivetta does work very quickly on the mound, and he brings the 1-0 pitch to Busch. Busch sends it in the air to center, hit pretty well, but that's on the warning track and playable out there just shy of the ivy wall, and the catch made by Jackson Merrill for out number one. And it will bring up Nico Hoerner. Hoerner this year hit .297, 7 home runs. He drove in 61. He was the Cubs' leader in batting average this year. Pitch to Hoerner is strike one. Pivetta delivers the 0-1 pitch. That's a little low. Counts to now even a ball and a strike. One pitch on the way to Hoerner. That's through into right field for a base hit, and the Cubs have the first base runner of the game, a 1-out single to right for Hoerner here at the bottom of the first. That will bring up Ian Happ. Ian Happ this year a .243 hitter, 23 home runs. He drove in 79. Now, Hoerner is a stolen base threat at first base. He had 29 of those this year. Pivetta working to Happ, and that misses high and outside for ball one. .1-0 pitch on the way from Pivetta to Ian Happ. Same spot and same result, 2-0 now. Pivetta looks in on Happ. Looks over at Horner at first base and delivers the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss by Ian Happ. The count's now 2-1. 2-1 pitch on the way. Strike, high strike in the zone, and count's now even 2-2. Happ gave a look back to the home plate umpire like he wasn't too sure about that strike call. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Pivetta to Happ. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. So Ian Happ called out on strikes for out number 2, and it will bring up Kyle Tucker, the Cubs DH. Tucker this season hit .266, 22 home runs on the year. He drove in 73. Cubs now a runner at first and 2 outs here in the first. The pitch to Tucker. Hit foul, third base side for strike 1. Looked like Nico Horner was off on that pitch, too. He'll have to go back to first base. Kyle Tucker missed the majority of September for the Cubs with that calf injury. Here's the strike 1 pitch. That's bounced foul, and Kyle Tucker quickly in an 0-2 hole. Craig Counsell, second-year manager of the Cubs, coming over from the Brewers last year. .0-2 pitch. And a throw over to first. Horner back in. Tucker stands in and awaits Pivetta's 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Pivetta. Takes care of the Cubs in the first. They get the 1-out single, but strand Horner at first base. 1 in the books at Wrigley in Game 1. Padres and Cubs, no score. And an update on that Detroit-Cleveland game. It is in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cleveland still trailing 2-1. They do have the tying run at second base. Switching over to this Detroit-Cleveland game during the inning break here, and there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Cleveland does have the tying run at second base. Tigers have pulled Tarek Skubal after 7 2/3 innings. And the Tigers are going to the bullpen. That's been a little bit of a sketchy bullpen this last month or so. Keep an eye on that one. As we get set to go the top of the second in this one, Padres and Cubs, no score. Padres will have the middle third of the order coming up as Jackson Merrill will lead it off in the Padres second. Jackson Merrill hitting .264 on the season, 16 home runs. He drove in 67. As Matthew Boyd back to work here in the second inning. He retired the Padres 1-2-3 in the first. And here we go. First pitch, top of the second inning to Jackson Merrill. Ball 1. Boyd's 1-0 pitch to Merrill. Caught the inside corner. Strike 1. 1-1 pitch. Jackson Merrill rips this one into right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Merrill rounding first, trying to stretch it to a double, and he will. Jackson Merrill with the leadoff double here in the second for the Padres. And that will bring up Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts hitting .263 in the regular season, 11 home runs, 53 runs batted in. Padres put their leadoff man in scoring position here in the second inning. Merrill at second, pitch outside for ball 1. So an ample scoring opportunity for the Padres to get on the board here in the second inning. .1-0 pitch. Inside corner, strike 1. That'll even the count a ball and a strike. Boyd looks in and delivers the 1-1 pitch to Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts hits it foul, and that will make the count now 1-2. Merrill at second base after a leadoff double here in the second. And the 1-2 pitch to Bogaerts downstairs. Counts now 2-2. Two pitch on the way. That's hit foul, and we will do it again. Right fielder Suzuki thought he possibly may have had a play on that foul ball to the first base side, but he did not, and the count is still 2-2 on Xander Bogaerts. 2-2 pitch once again. Lined into left center field. That's going to get down and into the gap. That's going to score Jackson Merrill from second. Back-to-back doubles for the Padres in the second. Then the ball gets by on the infield, and Bogaerts is going to take third base. The ball got by the second baseman on the throw-in from center, and Bogaerts makes it to third base. Jackson Merrill scores, and the Padres strike first in game 1, 1-0. And the batter will be Ryan O'Hearn. It's a double and an error. The error on the throw back into the infield. So Bogaerts standing at third with nobody out, and the pitch to O'Hearn is hit foul for strike 1. So back-to-back extra base hits to begin this top of the second. And Matthew Boyd, the Cubs ace, running into some problems here in the second inning. It's the 0-1 pitch. That's on the ground. Nice play by the shortstop, Swanson, throwing to first in time, and Bogaerts has to hold at third. A wonderful diving play by Swanson to save a run right there. And it will bring up the number 7 hitter, Gavin Sheets. Sheets, a .252 hitter this season, 19 home runs, 71 runs batted in. Bogart still at third, now with 1 out. Sheets takes strike 1. Boyd's 0-1 pitch to Gavin Sheets. Hit foul. Is it playable? It is on the infield. 2 outs. And Bogart still stands at third base. So a ground out and a pop out. The last 2 batters. And here comes Cronenworth. Cronenworth this year hit .246, 11 home runs, 59 runs batted in. Well, if the Cubs get out of here with just the 1 run, they have to feel very fortunate. Here comes the pitch to Cronenworth. Strike 1. Comes the strike 1 pitch to Cronenworth. Bounced up the middle. Swanson over to first, and that will do it. The Padres get 1, but the Cubs very fortunate to get out with just the 1 run. 2 hits, an error, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second. It's the Padres leading the Cubs 1-0 in Game 1. And meanwhile, in that Detroit-Cleveland game, Detroit came out of the bottom of the 8th unscathed, so that stays 2-1 Detroit as that game is heading to the 9th in Cleveland. So here for the Cubs, it'll be the 5, 6, 7 hitters, Suzuki, Kelly, and Pete Crow Armstrong here in the bottom of the second. Suzuki leading it off for the Cubs. He's the RBI leader for the Cubs this year. He hit .245 on the season, 32 home runs, 103 RBIs. As he will lead it off for the Cubs here in the bottom of the second. Again, later on, I will have the live stream of the Red Sox-Yankees Game 1 in the Bronx. And then the nightcap tonight out west, the Reds and the Dodgers Game 1. That's the rest of the wild card schedule for the day. Same schedule for tomorrow in the exact order of games as they were played today. And then Thursday will be to be determined. So here we go to the bottom of the second inning. Suzuki to lead it off here in the bottom of the second. On an absolutely gorgeous Tuesday afternoon on the north side of Chicago. First pitch, bottom 2, is hit foul for strike 1. 0-1 pitch to Suzuki upstairs. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. One pitch. Hit foul, and that will make the count, a ball and 2 strikes on Suzuki. Carson Kelly on deck, followed by Pete Crow Armstrong here in the bottom of the second. One-two pitch on the way from Pivetta to Suzuki. Foul back. Suzuki stays alive. Another 1-2 pitch coming from Pivetta to Suzuki. And here it is. In the air, left center field, shallow, coming on, and a diving catch out there in left center field for the first out. Jackson Merrill with the sliding catch for the first out. And here comes Carson Kelly, the Cubs catcher, number 6 hitter in the lineup. Kelly this year hit .249, 17 home runs. He drove in 50. Comes up with 1 out and nobody on here in the Cubs' second inning. Pavetta's pitch to Kelly is fouled away, strike 1. Tigers left runners on at second and third in the top of the ninth, so Cleveland coming up in the bottom of the ninth, still trailing 2-1. Tigers trying to get 3 more outs in that one to take the 1-0 series lead. Here's the 0-1 to Kelly. That's upstairs. That'll make it a ball and a strike. Pavetta's 1-1 to Kelly. Little outside, 2-1. Pivetta, I think, thought he caught the corner there, but didn't get the call. Pivetta looks in and delivers the 2-1 pitch to Carson Kelly. That's high, and it's now 3-1. Three-one pitch on the way to Kelly. That's right down the middle, strike 2, and that will fill the count, 3-2. Pivetta looks in and is set to deliver the payoff pitch to Carson Kelly. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Kelly went after one just on the top of the zone, and Pavetta's got his 3rd strikeout. 2 outs, nobody on, and it'll bring up Pete Crow Armstrong. Armstrong on the Pete Crow Armstrong hit .247, 31 home runs. He drove in 95. The pitch is inside for ball 1. One-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Counts even now, 1-1 on Pete Crow Armstrong. One pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2 the count on Pete Crow Armstrong. Pete Crow Armstrong steps back in the box, and Pavetta's 1-2 pitch on the way to him. Foul back, stays alive. Another 1-2 pitch coming. Swing and a miss. They'll have to throw to first to complete the putout. 4 strikeouts for Pavetta, and the Cubs retired 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. On we go to the third at Wrigley. Padres lead the Cubs 1-0. And it looks like in this Tigers-Cleveland game, Cleveland has put a runner at third base with nobody out in the bottom of the ninth. Let's take a turn over here and see what's going on. Yes, Cleveland has a runner at third with nobody out. Valera, the cleanup hitter, is up for Cleveland. And he just struck out, so there's the first out. Just giving a little bit of action in this Detroit-Cleveland game in between innings of the Padres-Cubs here. So now 1 out for Cleveland in the bottom of the ninth and the tying run at third. Yes, definitely nail-biting time. Kyle Manzardo, the batter for Cleveland. Let you know how this one comes out. Show one more pitch here before going back to the Padres-Cubs. And Manzardo fouls that off. I'll keep track and see of that one. You know how that one ends out. But here we go to the third inning. Padres lead the Cubs 1-0. Number 9 hitter, the Padres catcher Fermin, will lead it off here in the top of the third. Against Cubs ace this year, Matthew Boyd. A packed, sold-out crowd in Game 1 of the National League Wild Card Series. Both these teams under their second-year managers, Craig Counsell for the Cubs, Mike Shildt for the Padres. First pitch, top 3 at the knees for strike 1 to Freddie Fermin. Oh, 1 pitch from Boyd. That misses a little outside. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. Both pitchers work very quickly on the mound here. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fermin fouls it back, and that will reach the seats. It's now 1-2. One-two pitch on the way to Fermin from Matthew Boyd. And Boyd steps off momentarily. Now Boyd back set. And will deliver the 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. Fermin fouls it off to stay alive. Freddie Fermin this year played 42 games with the Padres after coming over from Kansas City. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Verbeek fouls it off. "32 pitches so far for Boyd. Only 8 of those for balls so far. 1-2 pitch. Bouncer up the middle, but there's the second baseman. Easy play over to first base for the first out. Easy play there for Horner. 1 down, and it's back to the top of the order in Tatis. Cleveland, in that Tigers-Cleveland game, Cleveland got the leadoff man at third base in the bottom of the 9th. But he was erased on a fielder's choice at home. That's a grounder to short. Dansby Swanson over to first, and 2 outs here in the Padres' third. There was a fielder's choice that erased him, and then a pop out to shortstop, and Detroit has won game 1 in Cleveland 2-1. So the Tigers lead that series 1-0, with a chance to close out Cleveland tomorrow. So the road team gets the opener in that one. It's 2 out, nobody on here in the Padres' third, and here's Arias. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Oh, 1 pitch, swing and a miss. Boyd ahead, 0-2. Here comes the Wrigley crowd as they rise to their feet. The 0-2 pitch from Boyd. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And the Padres retired 1-2-3 in the third. We go to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 San Diego. The Cubs will have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up. Swanson, Shaw, and then the top of the order, Butch, in the bottom of the third inning. Cubs this year end up 92-70 on the season. Finished as the number 1 wild card. They finished 5 games behind the Brewers in the National League Central. Padres ended up with a 90-72 record. Number 2 wild card. They finished 3 games behind the Dodgers. And of course, the third wild card team went to the Reds as it went down to the final day of the season to see who was going to get that final spot, the Reds or the Mets. They came in that final day tied, with the Reds holding the tiebreaker due to their season series win over the Mets. Reds lost in Milwaukee, but the Mets lost to the Marlins, and that put the Reds in the postseason for that third and final wild card spot. First appearance in the postseason for the Reds since 2020. That was the COVID year, the expanded playoffs that year. So back here, 1-0. Padres lead the Cubs. We get set to go the bottom of the third, and Dansby Swanson will lead off the bottom of the third for the Cubs. Swanson this year a .244 hitter, 24 home runs. He drove in 77. The rooftops across the street at Wrigley are filled. First pitch, bottom 3, is a ball to Dansby Swanson. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. That's popped very high in the air and foul and out of play. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. As I mentioned with the Reds, the Cubs also in the postseason for the first time since that COVID year of 2020. One pitch to Dansby Swanson. In the air to center. Jackson Merrill out there, veering towards right center. Merrill's got it for out number 1 here in the bottom of the third. And it will bring up Matt Shaw. Shaw hitting .226 this year, 13 home runs. He drove in 44. And the pitch to Matt Shaw, number 9 hitter in the Cubs lineup. Shows bunt and takes a strike. 0-1. Oh, 1 pitch. That's way high. A ball and a strike now, the count to Matt Shaw. One pitch from Pivetta to Shaw. Outside corner for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. One-two pitch. Outside, 2-2. Pivetta looks in and delivers the 2-2 pitch to Matt Shaw. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Shaw goes down swinging. Strikeout number 5 for Pivetta in this game. 2 outs in the third. And we're back to the top of the order, Michael Busch. Pivetta's pitch, ball 1. One-zero pitch from Pivetta, swing and a miss. Ball and a strike now. One. That's inside. Now 2-1. Two-one pitch. Popped up. Very high on the infield. Who wants it? It's going to be the first baseman. Arias with the catch, and the Cubs, for the second straight inning, retired 1-2-3. We head to inning number 4 at Wrigley. Game 1, National League Wild Card Series. Padres lead the Cubs 1-0. Padres in the 4th inning will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Machado, Merrill, and Bogarts. Looking for some insurance here to their 1-0 lead. So looking at the list right here, the current longest active playoff drought in the major leagues is currently the Angels. They are currently at 11 years without a playoff appearance. Their last playoff appearance was back in 2014. So they have the current longest active playoff drought in the major leagues. National League longest active playoff drought is currently with the Pirates. The Pirates, it's been 10 years since the Pirates made the postseason, last making it in 2015. And this year also concluded the 8 consecutive years that the Houston Astros made the playoffs. This is the first time since 2016 that the Astros failed to qualify for the playoffs. Astros tied for that final wild card spot with Detroit, but the Tigers won the season series. That's why the Tigers got the final spot. So here we go. First pitch, top 4 is outside, ball 1. Boyd currently at 37 pitches through 3 innings. He starts it off with Manny Machado, who's 0 for 1. The pitch to Machado is downstairs. The appeal to first base, no swing. So Machado's ahead in the count 2-0. 2-0 pitch from Matthew Boyd. There's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike now. 2-1. Machado shows bunt and takes low. It is now 3-1 on Manny Machado. Leadoff batter for the Padres here in the top of the 4th. RBI double by Xander Bogaerts back in the 2nd, scored Jackson Merrill. That's the lone run of the game so far. Three-one pitch. That's outside, and Machado draws a leadoff walk here in the top of the 4th. And here comes Jackson Merrill, who led off the 2nd with a double and was drove in by the double from Xander Bogaerts. Boyd's pitch to Jackson Merrill. He shows bunt, and that's going to get the job done. It'll advance Machado to 2nd, throw over to 1st to retire Jackson Merrill, and it gets Machado into scoring position with 1 out. And here comes Xander Bogaerts. RBI double, and he advanced to 3rd on the error on the throw back into the infield from center field. Runner at 2nd, 1 out. Padres looking for some insurance here to add to their 1-run lead. And a strike on the inside corner to Xander Bogaerts. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Bogaerts hits it just foul, 3rd base side. 0-2. Ryan O'Hearn, the Padres DH, is on deck. Bogaerts steps back in and awaits the 0-2 pitch from Matthew Boyd. Here it is. Outside, 1-2. 1-2 pitch on the way from Boyd to Bogaerts. That's a little tapper. That's going to be a tough play on the infield. Throw to first is late, and Bogaerts beats it out on an infield single, and it puts runners at the corners with 1 out. It was just a little tapper that just got past Boyd on the mound, and once it got past him, it was going to be a tough play at that point. Shaw fielded it, but the throw to first was a step too late. And the Padres have first and third with 1 out for Ryan O'Hearn. O'Hearn is 0 for 1 so far. And takes a pitch high in the strike zone for strike 1. 0-1 pitch to O'Hearn. Fouled away, and O'Hearn is down in the count 0-2. Pitch to O'Hearn. Downstairs, a ball and 2 strikes. Machado at third. Bogaerts at first. 1-2 pitch to O'Hearn. And they throw over to first, and Bogaerts back in. One-two pitch now from Boyd to O'Hearn. In the air, center field. That's going to be caught. Over the shoulder catch by Dansby Swanson will hold the runner at third. 2 down. That's the second time in this game Dansby Swanson saved a run. He made a diving play on the infield back in the second inning that also saved a run. So it'll be up to Gavin Sheets now with 2 outs. Sheets is 0 for 1 so far. Cubs trying to get out of this here in the third. Still down just 1 run. Sheets sends this one into right center, playable. And the catch made out there at right center field to retire the side. The Padres do not score. And strand 2, we head to the bottom of the fourth. It remains Padres 1, Cubs nothing. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Cubs, Horner, Happ, and Tucker, in the bottom of the fourth inning. But Dansby Swanson has saved the day twice for the Cubs on defense. The Cubs come back and win this. They owe him the game ball. A game baseball, of course. I want to update you during the break here on the live stream schedule here on my page. Going to be back with you for the Red Sox-Yankees game. Depending on the length of this game, could miss the first part of that, although this game's flying right along. We're not even an hour old yet. And we're going the bottom of the fourth. And then we'll be with you for more Major League Baseball playoff action tomorrow. Not exactly sure offhand yet which games it's going to be, but I will be on tomorrow sometime for more playoff action. And also Thursday, that schedule's TBA, depending on what happens tomorrow and which series go to Game 3. And then we'll have more college football action on the live stream on Saturday. I usually do a college football doubleheader on Saturdays. I may just do one college football game this week and then do one of the division series games. Have not fully decided on that yet. I'll keep you updated on that on the live stream schedule. But that's a lot of action coming up on the live stream page this week as Major League Baseball playoff action getting underway. But in this one, it is 1-0 Padres as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's going to be Nico Hoerner leading it off in the bottom of the fourth for the Cubs. A run, 3 hits, no errors for the Padres. No runs, just 1 hit so far for the Cubs, and that belongs to Hoerner. Back in the second inning, or back in the first inning, rather. First pitch, bottom of the fourth from Pivetta to Nico Hoerner. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Hoerner singled in the second inning, but was stranded. Cubs have been retired 1, 2, 3 the last 2 innings. 0-1 pitch from Pivetta. That's downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 pitch. That's down in the dirt. 2-1 now, the count on Hoerner. Hoerner awaits the 2-1 pitch from Pivetta. And here it is. Inside corner, strike 2. That will even the count at 2-2. Hoerner will be followed by Happ and Tucker here in the Cubs' fourth inning. 2-2 pitch to Hoerner. In the air. Just off the infield grass, first base side. Catch made over there for the first out. Here comes Ian Happ now with 1 out. Happ a strikeout victim his first time. 1 of 5 strikeout victims against Pivetta so far. Here's the pitch, and that is down the middle for strike 1. Strike 1 pitch from Pivetta. Little high. Check swing over to third. No swing. According to the third base umpire, which is Todd Titchener today. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Now the count on Ian Happ. One-two pitch. That's way high. 2-2 now the count on Ian Happ. Pivetta wants a new baseball. 2-2 pitch on the way from Pivetta to Happ. Inside, that will fill the count, 3-2. Three-two payoff pitch. Foul back. Happ stays alive. Pivetta currently at 52 pitches here in the fourth inning. Here comes another 3-2 pitch from Pivetta to Happ. Here it is. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Happ went after an inside one. That's strikeout number 6 for Nick Pivetta. 2 down in the fourth. The batter with 2 outs will be Kyle Tucker. He also struck out his first time up against Pivetta. Tucker fouls this off third base side for strike 1. Pivetta delivers the 0-1 pitch to Kyle Tucker. Little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch. Tucker fouls it off third base side, and now 1-2. The count on Kyle Tucker. Tucker steps back in, and the 1-2 offering from Pivetta to Kyle Tucker. Upstairs, 2-2. Pivetta's 2-2 pitch. Hit foul, and Tucker stays alive. Pivetta's pitch count's getting up there here for not being out of the fourth inning. He's approaching 60 pitches. Here's another 2-2 to Tucker. Check swing, foul. Tucker staying alive here. Pitch number 7 of the at-bat. And here it is, another 2-2. On the ground to first. Unassisted over there, and the third out, and the Cubs retired 1-2-3 for the third inning in a row. We head to the 5th at Wrigley. Still Padres 1, Cubs nothing. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Padres. Cronenworth, Fermin, and then the top of the order, Tatis, here in the 5th. So a couple of Major League Baseball bits of news for you here during the timeout. The Bruce Bochy, manager of the Texas Rangers, who led them to a World Series championship just 2 years ago, out as Rangers manager. So the Rangers will be looking for a new manager. Bruce Bochy, one of the best managers in the game, led the Giants to some championships. And of course, I said led the Rangers just 2 years ago to their first ever World Series championship. And also, Ron Washington, who's been suffering some health issues anyway, missed a lot of this year. He will not be back as manager of the Angels. So the Angels and Rangers, AL West rivals, both looking for managers. Angels finished under 500. That's the 10th consecutive year the Angels have finished with a sub 500 record. And I mentioned earlier, they have the longest current playoff drought at 11 seasons. So that's a couple of managerial bits of managerial news from around Major League Baseball. And here we go to inning number 5 with the Padres leading the Cubs 1-0. Cronenworth leads off the Padres' 5th against Matthew Boyd and takes a strike at the knees. Boyd at 52 pitches through 4 innings. Oh, 1 pitch. Cronenworth shows bunt and fouls it off. So Cronenworth now down, no balls, 2 strikes. Oh, 2 pitch downstairs. 1-2 now the count on Cronenworth. One-two pitch to Cronenworth. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Boyd with a strikeout. 1 down here in the 5th. Brings up Fermin, the Padres catcher. Inside corner, strike 1. Fermin lines this one into left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Fermin rounding first, takes a wide turn, but then puts on the brakes and retreats back to first base. So Fermin, a 1-out single here in the 5th, and we're back to the top of the order in Tatis. Tatis 0 for 2 so far in this game. And Craig Counsell coming up. That looks like it's going to be it for Matthew Boyd. So Boyd does not make it out of the 5th inning. Boyd gets a nice hand from the Cub fans. Gives up 4 hits in 4 1/3 innings, but he will be relieved here in the 5th inning. It's going to be Daniel Palencia coming in for the Cubs. Palencia's numbers this year went 1-6, ERA of 2.91, 16 walks, 61 strikeouts, 52 2/3 innings. He inherits a runner on first here in the 5th. So Boyd, 4 1/3 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. And he gives way to Palencia as the Cubs go to the bullpen early in this one. So runner at first, one out here in the fifth inning for the Padres. Leading 1-0, looking for some insurance. And they will have to do it against the Cubs relief pitcher here. So here's Tatis coming up. First pitch from Palencia to Tatis. In the air to right, barely having to move out there in right field is Suzuki for out number 2. So one pitch and one out retires Tatis. So Arias steps up 0 for 2. Pitch right down the middle, strike 1. Strike 1 pitch. Luis Arias. I make sure I was getting that pronunciation right, and I wasn't anywhere close. I apologize. Arias. 1-1 pitch outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Two-one pitch. Arias sends this one in the air to right center. And out there for the catch is Pete Crow Armstrong, and that will retire the Padres in the 5th. Halfway through this one, Padres lead the Cubs 1-0. It'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Cubs. Suzuki, Kelly, and Pete Crow Armstrong due up in the bottom of the 5th inning. So we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. So the line is closed on Matthew Boyd. 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run was earned, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. He threw 58 pitches in 4 1/3 innings. So we head to the bottom of the 5th. Suzuki will lead off for the Cubs, as the Cubs have managed just 1 hit so far. In the first 4 innings against Pivetta. "11 in a row have been retired by Pivetta since the 1-out single in the first inning. First pitch, bottom 5. Upstairs, ball 1. One 0 pitch. Inside, it's 2-0. The count to Suzuki. Two 0 pitch. Suzuki fouls it off. Count now 2-1. Five, 6, and 7 hitters for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 pitch. Suzuki sends this one deep into left center field. Back it goes and gone. Suzuki sends it out to left center field. And just like that, the Cubs tie it up on the solo home run by Suzuki. 424 feet, the estimated distance to left center field. That gets Wrigley Field electric here. So brand new ball game as we are now 1-1. Carson Kelly fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. One pitch down low, or excuse me, 0-1 pitch rather. 1-1 now. One, swing and a miss. 1-2. One-two pitch. Fouled away. One-two pitch outside, 2-2. Two on the way, and Carson Kelly sends it in the air. That's it to deep left center, and that is gone. Back to back go the Cubs in the 5th. Suzuki and Kelly, and just like that, the Cubs are in front 2-1. I wasn't sure that one had enough to get out, but it made it into the second row in the left center field bleachers. Cubs in front 2-1. And that may be it for Pivetta. Back-to-back home runs for the Cubs to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Oh, they're leaving Pivetta in there. That was just a talk on the mound, but there is action in the Padre bullpen. Everybody's standing at Wrigley now. Pete Crow Armstrong swings and misses for strike one. Pete Crow Armstrong fouls this off. It's quickly 0-2. Oh-2 pitch to Pete Crow Armstrong. Shows bunt and went after it, I think. No, they say he held back. 1-2. One-two pitch. And a swing and a miss for strike three. Pete Crow Armstrong strikes out. That's strikeout number 7 for Nick Pivetta, and it brings up Dansby Swanson. Cubs held to 1 hit through the first 4 innings, but the Bats have come alive here in the 5th with back-to-back home runs to put the Cubs in front. That will get Matthew Boyd off the hook for the loss. Oh, 1 pitch to Dansby Swanson is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch. There's a strike called. 1-2 now, the count on Dansby Swanson. One-two pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Swanson didn't like that call. And he is letting home plate umpire Eric Bacchus know about it. 8th strikeout for eighth strikeout for Pivetta, 2 outs, and the batter is Matt Shaw. Shaw takes high, ball 1. Shaw struck out his first time. He is one of the 8 strikeout victims against Pivetta. Pivetta about to throw his 80th pitch of the game. And it's popped foul back. And that'll make it a ball and a strike. One pitch. Downstairs, 2-1. Two-one pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Two pitch on the way. That is popped foul back, and that will reach the seats, and we'll do another 2-2. Tigers have already won today. They won game 1 in Cleveland 2-1, so they lead that series 1-0. Chance to close it out tomorrow. 2-2 pitch again. That's upstairs, and the count runs full. 3-2 to Matt Shaw. Crowd rises at Wrigley. 3-2 payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That is strikeout number 9 for Pivetta. That does it in the 5th, but back-to-back home runs from Suzuki and Kelly have given the Cubs the lead. It's the Cubs 2, the Padres 1, heading to the top of the 6th. And in the 6th inning for the Padres, we will see Machado, Merrill, and Bogarts, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, coming up now trailing by a run, 2-1. And was this 5th inning going to be the final inning of work for Pivetta? He's thrown 85 pitches through 5 innings. We'll find out in the bottom of the 6th. Palencia came in relief of Boyd in the 5th. He only threw 5 pitches, so he'll probably be back out here for the 6th. Again, later on tonight, Red Sox and Yankees from the Bronx. I will be on my live stream to do the live stream of that one. And then the Reds and Dodgers from out west. Those 2 games still to come tonight, game 1 in those series. Mariners will await the winner of the Tigers-Cleveland series. And the Blue Jays will await the winner of the Red Sox-Yankees series. In the National League, the winner of this Cubs-Padres series will get Milwaukee. And the winner of the Reds-Dodgers series will get the Phillies. So that's how the Major League playoffs shape up here as we head to the top of the 6th in this one. Padres trailing for the first time in this game, down 2-1. Manny Machado will lead off the top of the 6th for the Padres. He's 0 for 1. He hasn't reached on a walk. Palencia is back out there to pitch here in the 6th, and the first pitch, top 6. Machado swings and misses, strike 1. Strike 1 pitch to Manny Machado. Swing and a miss. 100 miles an hour on the fastball. It's 0-2. Machado's went after 2 inside ones. 0-2 pitch. Upstairs, 1-2. Another fastball that reaches triple digits. Palencia is bringing it. Here's the 1-2. That's upstairs. 2-2. Two-two pitch. Machado fouls it off, and we'll do another 2-2. Palencia brings another 2-2 pitch to Machado. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Nope, just got a piece of it. Excuse me. We're in that part of the day now in Chicago where the pitcher's in the sunlight and the batter's in the shade. Kind of hard to see. Machado did get a piece of that to foul it off. Here's another 2-2. And on the inside, he went around. That's going to be strike 3. Machado strikes out for the first out. And it'll bring up Jackson Merrill. Merrill doubled and scored the Padres' run in the second. Merrill takes a strike on the inside corner. Strike 1 pitch to Jackson Merrill. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Strike 2 pitch on the way to Jackson Merrill. There it is. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Palencia. 2 out in the 6th. And it brings up Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts is 2 for 2. RBI double back in the second, and he singled his last time up. Bogaerts takes strike 1. Strike 1 pitch to Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts sends it in the air to center. Playable out there. Pete Crow Armstrong on the edge of the warning track with the catch. And the Padres retired 1-2-3 in the 6th. Top of the order due up for the Cubs in the bottom of the 6th. Cubs still lead this 2-1. A division series round will start on Saturday following the conclusion of this wild card round, which will go today, tomorrow, and the if necessary games on Thursday. Other news from around the sports world, steering clear of Major League Baseball for a moment. Tyreek Hill last night suffered a bad injury for the Miami Dolphins, and it looks like he, in addition to the dislocated knee, looks like he may have tore his ACL as well. So he is out for the remainder of this year for Miami. So the Dolphins will be out their star wide receiver for the rest of the season. And then back to Major League Baseball news. Of course, Clayton Kershaw retiring following the season. So he will be seeing action in his final playoffs as a Major League Baseball player, as he will be retiring following the 2025 season. Dodgers would love to send him out with back-to-back championships into retirement. A couple other sports news for you as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Cubs leading 2-1, and will bring the top of the order. It'll be Bush leading it off in the bottom of the 6th against a new Padres pitcher, Adrian Morjan. Appeared in 75 games this year. 13-6 record. ERA of 2.08, 17 walks, and 70 strikeouts. So both teams have gone to the bullpen here. And the first pitch in the bottom of the sixth is a strike to Michael Busch. So it'll be a bullpen game the rest of the way in this one. Strike one pitch to Busch is fouled away. Michael Busch quickly down in the count 0-2. Oh-2 pitch on the way to Michael Busch. Busch sends this one in the air to left center field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. And Michael Busch has a leadoff single here in the bottom of the sixth. Sheets tried to get to it, but it was too far in front of him, and he had to grab it on a bounce. And it brings up Nico Hoerner. Hoerner 1 for 2. He singled back in the first, rather. Second batter of the first inning. The pitch to him is a strike. Strike one pitch is hit foul, and it's quickly 0-2 on Nico Hoerner. Strike two pitch on the way. A bouncer up the middle and through for a base hit. Busch will stop at second, and the Cubs have the first two on here in the bottom of the sixth with back-to-back singles. And it will bring up Ian Happ. Happ is 0 for 2. He struck out his two at-bats against Pivetta. And now a meeting on the mound. Pitching coach Ruben Niebla out to have a talk with his pitcher. Mason Miller is warming up in the bullpen for the Padres. So the meeting on the mound is over, and now Ian Happ steps up. First and second, no one out for the Cubs here in the sixth. They'd like to add some insurance. Happ fouls it away, third base side, strike one. A 0-1 pitch on the way to Ian Happ. On the ground to third, that might be two. To second one, on to first, double play. Busch does advance to third on the play, but there are now two outs. And it will bring up Kyle Tucker. It's a tailor-made 5-4-3 double play. So now two outs, a runner at third, And let's see if Kyle Tucker can bring in Bush. Tucker sends it in the air to center. And the Padres are going to get out of this. First and second, no one out for the Cubs, but they do not score. A double play and a flyout end the inning. We head to the seventh. It's still a 2-1 Cubs lead. Padres in the top of the seventh inning. We'll have the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, O'Hearn, Sheets, and Cronenworth. As the Padres down a run as we enter the late innings of this one. Third pitcher of the game for the Cubs coming in as Palencia's day is finished. Drew Pomerantz will be the new Cubs pitcher. Pomerantz pitched in 57 games this year with a 2-2 record. ERA of 2.17, 15 walks, 57 strikeouts in 49 2/3 innings. He will come on here in the seventh. And he will face Ryan O'Hearn to lead off the top of the seventh inning for the Padres. So here we go, top of the seventh. And the pitch is outside for ball one. One 0 pitch is fouled away. Counts now even 1-1. One pitch. That's in the air to left field. Shading the eyes out there in left field and almost misplayed out there. But Ian Happ does make the catch for the first out. And the pitch is strike one to Gavin Sheets. Sheets is 0 for 2. Oh, 1 pitch. There's a strike. It's 0-2 now. The count to Sheets. Oh, 2 is foul, and we will do another 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch. And another foul. 0-2 pitch, down low, 1-2. One-two pitch to Sheets is in the air to right. On the warning track, Suzuki tracks it down for out number 2 here in the top of the 7th. And here's Cronenworth with 2 out, nobody on in the Padres' 7th. Cronenworth is 0 for 2. The pitch to him is fouled off, third base side, strike 1. Cubs bullpen starting to loosen again. Andrew Kittredge is warming up. Strike 1 pitch on the way to Cronenworth. Cronenworth sends it in the air to left center. This is playable for Pete Crow Armstrong. He's got it. And the Padres retired 1-2-3 in the 7th. Stretch time at Wrigley. The 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Cubs. And the Cubs lead this game 2-1. Suzuki, Kelly, and Pete Crow Armstrong, the 3 scheduled hitters in the bottom of the 7th for the Cubs. Suzuki and Kelly, the 2 that went back-to-back on the home runs in the 5th, that's given the Cubs the lead. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Cubs. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Padres. Padres have left 4 runners on base. The Cubs have left 2 on. In a game that's not even 2 hours old yet, we are just moving right along in this one. And the Cubs are 6 defensive outs away from taking a 1-0 series lead against the Padres. They definitely would like to have some insurance, clinging to the slimmest of margins, a 1-run lead. Seeing who's coming on to pitch for the Padres in the 7th, if they bring Morjan in again or if they're going to go into the bullpen for their 3rd pitcher. And it is going to be a new pitcher for the Padres. And it is going to be Mason Miller coming in to pitch for San Diego here in the 7th. Eddie Vedder, one of the lead players in the group Pearl Jam, the honorary singer of the 7th inning stretch at Wrigley. So Mason Miller will face Suzuki and takes a strike. Suzuki hit the first of the back-to-back home runs in the 5th. Miller's 1-strike pitch to Suzuki. Downstairs, it bounced up there. 1-1. Miller's 1-1 pitch to Suzuki. At the knee, strike two, a ball and 2 strikes now the count. One-two pitch. Suzuki fouls it back to stay alive. Miller delivers another 1-2 pitch to Suzuki. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Suzuki goes down on strikes. And there's the first out in the bottom of the 7th. And it will bring up the Cubs catcher Carson Kelly, who hit the second of the back-to-back homers in the 5th. His is the difference that's given the Cubs the lead. Miller looks in on Kelly and delivers. Ball 1. One-zero pitch. Kelly swings and misses. That fastball hit 102 miles per hour from Mason Miller. The pitcher's mound and the plate area both almost fully in the shade now. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2 now on Carson Kelly. One-two pitch on the way from Mason Miller to Carson Kelly. Called strike 3 right down the middle. Kelly was obviously looking for something else. That pitch was right down the pipe. 2 down in the inning. And here comes Pete Crow Armstrong. He struck out both of his at-bats against the Padres starter, Pivetta. Swing and a miss, strike 1, another 102-mile-an-hour fastball. Oh, 1 pitch. Inside, 1-1 now. One pitch. At the knees for strike 2. Looking ahead to the Padres' 8th inning, it's going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters, Fermin, and then the top of the order, Tatis and Arise. One-two to Pete Crow Armstrong. Swing and a miss. Mason Miller strikes out the side in the 7th. Pete Crow Armstrong strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. We head to the 8th at Wrigley in Game 1. Cubs lead the Padres 2-1. So again, earlier, the Tigers win in Cleveland in Game 1 of that wild card series, 2-1. Tarek Skubal, last year's Cy Young Award winner in the American League, 14 strikeouts. As the Tigers take a 1-0 lead over Cleveland with a chance to close that series out tomorrow. Winner of that series will face Seattle in the division series. Winner of this series here, the Padres and Cubs will face the Brewers. Still to come tonight, game ones of the Red Sox, Yankees, and the Reds and the Dodgers. Red Sox Yankees wild card series winner will take on Toronto. And the winner of the Reds Dodgers series will take on the Phillies. Division series round starts on Saturday. Cubs go into the bullpen for the third time as they're going to bring Kittredge in to pitch the eighth inning. He became the setup guy for the Cubs. And he will try and hold this to a one-run Cubs lead here in the eighth inning. Fermin, the number 9 hitter, will lead it off for the Padres in the eighth inning. Padres need a run to tie, and they've got 6 outs left to do it. First pitch, top of the eighth, is right down the middle. Strike one. Oh, 1 pitch. Hit foul off the foot of Fermin in the batter's box. It's 0-2. Kittredge delivers the 0-2 pitch to Fermin. Outside, 1-2 the count. Here comes the 1-2. In the air, third base side or first base side, and foul. Count stays 1-2. One, two. Fouled away again. Kittredge's 1-2 pitch to Fermin again is on the ground to third. And the throw over to first in time to retire Fermin. And that's the first out here in the eighth inning. And we're back to the top of the order in Tatis. Tatis 0 for 3 in this game this afternoon. Tatis ready in the box. Kittredge delivers inside. Ball 1. One 0 pitch. Down low, 2-0. Two-0 pitch. There's a strike. 2-1 now on Tatis. Two one on the inside corner, strike 2. Counts even 2-2. And here comes the crowd rising at Wrigley. Tatis steps in, and the 2-2 pitch on the way. Called strike 3. Tatis caught looking for the second out. And it brings up a rise. A rise 0 for 3 this afternoon. Comes up with the bases empty and 2 outs. Bouncer foul for strike 1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th for the Cubs, it'll be 8, 9, and 1. Dansby Swanson, Matt Shaw, in the top of the order, Michael Busch. Oh, 1 inside, 1-1 the count. One pitch, a rise, sends in the air to center. Pete Crow Armstrong with the catch, and the Padres retired in order in the 8th. Bottom of the 8th we go. It's still the Cubs leading 2-1. 3 outs away from a Game 1 victory. Cubs would love to add some insurance here in this 8th inning. Swanson, Shaw, and Busch will be coming up. Again, Red Sox Yankees coming up at 6 o'clock. I will have the live stream on my page for that one. Assuming this one doesn't go extra innings, and it may be a little bit of a late start on the live stream on that, but this game's barely past the 2-hour mark, and we're already heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Padres go into their 4th pitcher of the game. It's going to be Jeremiah Estrada coming in. Pitched in 77 games this year. A 4-5 record. ERA of 3.45. Walked 27, struck out 108 in 73 innings this year. He's trying to keep this game right where it is. He was the setup man for the Padres this year. And he will start it off with Dansby Swanson here at the bottom of the 8th inning. So here we go into the bottom of the 8th. Reds and Dodgers, the other wild card Game 1 still to come tonight as well. First pitch, bottom 8, strike 1 to Dansby Swanson, who is 0 for 2 in this game. Oh, 1 pitch. Line into left field. That's going to be a base hit for Dansby Swanson. Swanson, a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it will bring up Matt Shaw. 6th hit of the afternoon for the Cubs. Shaw 0 for 2 in the game. Struck out both times he's been up. Estrada's pitch to Shaw. Shaw shows bunt, takes high, ball 1. Strike 1 on the 1-0 pitch to Shaw. Evens the count 1-1. You know, the Cubs would love to have some insurance because the Padres have their bats coming up in the 9th inning. Machado, Merrill, and Bogarts. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Taken low, 2-1 now the count on Matt Shaw. Two-one pitch on the way. Shaw shows bunt again, gets it down. That'll advance the runner. Shaw will be tagged out. So 1 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It does advance Swanson to second. It gets the Cubs an insurance runner in scoring position for the top of the order in Bush. Bush 1 for 3 in this game. Meeting on the mound here. So Swanson, the runner at second, he would be a big insurance run for the Cubs as they are clinging to the narrowest of leads at 1 run. Here comes Bush. Now time called by the home plate umpire. They're going to intentionally walk Bush. That'll set up the force play. So it'll put runners at first and second for Nico Hoerner. Hoerner is 2 for 3 in this game. First and second, 1 out for the Cubs. Here comes the crowd rising at Wrigley. Hoerner takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Swanson at second, Bush at first. 0-1 pitch to Hoerner. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2 now, the count on Nico Hoerner. Oh, 2 pitch to Nico Hoerner from Estrada. That'll get away, and the runners will move up to second and third. That'll be a wild pitch. So 2 in scoring position now for the Cubs with 1 out in the 8th. One and 2 the count on Hoerner. And here's Estrada's pitch. In the air to center. Medium depth. The catch is made. Here's the tag. Throw home. Cut off. And it's 3-1. Why in the world do you cut that off? A big insurance run for the Cubs makes it 3-1. It was hit to medium center field. The throw was coming in and it got cut off by Estrada. And now it's a 2-run lead for the Cubs. And that's going to do it on the mound for Estrada. So Estrada's done after 2/3 of an inning. And we will have the 5th Padres pitcher of the game coming in. So the Cubs pick up a huge, huge insurance run in this game. And we will see our 5th pitcher of the afternoon for the Padres, and it is going to be Wandy Peralta coming in to pitch. Peralta appeared in 71 games this year, a 6-1 record, 3.14 ERA. He walked 30 and struck out 63, 71 and 2/3 innings. He just needs to get one out here to get out of the bottom of the 8th and keep it a 2-run spread. Ian Happ will be the batter. Happ has an 0-for-3 game going. But he'd love to get his first hit here and give the Cubs yet another insurance run. So up comes Ian Happ against Wandy Peralta as he completes his warm-up tosses. So here we go. Peralta stands in and set to deliver his first pitch to Ian Happ. Ball 1. One 0 pitch. There's a strike. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. Again, the Padres do have the bats coming up in the 9th inning. Machado, Merrill, and Bogarts. But now they're going to need 2 runs. 1-1 pitch is inside. That'll make the count 2-1. Two-one pitch. Hit foul, and that will even the count 2-2. Two-two pitch on the way. Outside, and that will fill the count 3-2. Cleanup hitter Kyle Tucker is on deck. No one's sitting at Wrigley Field. 3-2 pitch, a swing and a miss for strike 3, and that'll do it in the bottom of the 8th. But the Cubs add an insurance run on a sacrifice fly from Nico Horner. We head to the 9th. Machado, Merrill, and Bogarts coming up for the Padres. They trail this game 3-1. The Padres going to need at least 2 to keep this game alive, or else face elimination tomorrow. See who comes in to pitch the 9th here for the Cubs. It is going to be Brad Keller. Brad Keller appeared in 68 games this year, 4-2 record, did have 3 saves, 2.07 ERA, 22 walks and 75 strikeouts, 69 2/3 innings. He needs 3 outs here to give the Cubs a 1-0 series lead. The Milwaukee Brewers are sitting back and awaiting the winner of this series in the division series. On a sold-out Wrigley Field on an absolutely spectacular Tuesday afternoon on the north side of Chicago, 74 degrees. And they are seeing their Cubs 3 outs away from a possible clincher tomorrow. So Machado will lead it off here in the 9th for the Padres. He is 0 for 2. He has reached on a walk today. The San Diego Padres in their franchise history have never won a postseason game when trailing entering the 9th. They are 0-35 all time. Here's Machado stepping in against Keller. First pitch, top of the 9th. Right down the middle, strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch. Hit foul, and it'll quickly 0-2 on Manny Machado. Oh, 2 pitch. Outside, 1-2. What a lively crowd it has been at Wrigley Field today. First time these Cub fans have seen their team in postseason play in 5 years. 1-2 pitch, down low, 2-2. Two-two pitch. Bouncer to short. Swanson over to first, 1 out in the 9th. Here's Jackson Merrill. 1 for 2, doubled and scored the lone run of the game for the Padres back in the 2nd. Keller's pitch to Merrill. Jackson Merrill sends it in the air to center. Pete Crow Armstrong on the edge of the warning track just in front of the wall with the catch. And the Padres are down to their final out. Merrill gave that one a ride. It's up to Xander Bogaerts to keep this one alive for the Padres. Everyone rising at Wrigley. And time called by the home plate umpire before the pitch was thrown. I don't know what they just called a clock violation on Xander Bogaerts. Bogart's not happy, and now out comes Schultz, the Padre manager, and now we've got another umpire coming in to talk about it. They called a clock violation on the batter, Bogaerts, there. So that is a strike. Schultz still getting an explanation. Okay, and they actually did. Now, after the umpires got together, there was a discussion, and they did grant Bogaerts time coming out of the box. I think that's what Bogaerts was upset about. He said he called for time long before stepped out of the box. So it's back to an 0-0 count. And the first pitch to him is down low for ball one. Bogaerts has to get on to get the tying run to the plate. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. O'Hearn is on deck. He would represent the tying run if Bogaerts gets on. 1-1 pitch is hit foul, and now the Padres are down to their final strike. One-two pitch. 2-2 as that misses low and outside. Two-two pitch. Foul ball. Bogaerts just got a piece of that to foul it off. Another 2-2 pitch coming to Xander Bogaerts. Bouncer foul. Bogaerts doing a good job hanging in here. Another 2-2, seventh pitch of the at-bat. Called strike three, and this game is over. Bogaerts looks at strike three. The Cubs take game one, 3-1 in this wild card series over the San Diego Padres. Three runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Cubs. 1 run, 4 hits. No errors for the Padres. And this home crowd, who was lively today, see their Cubs with a chance to advance to the division series tomorrow. Palencia got the win. Keller the save. Pivetta the loss for the Padres. The Cubs lead the series 1-0. Game 2 coming up tomorrow afternoon. The back-to-back home runs in the 5th inning, the difference in this one. The Suzuki and Kelly back-to-back home runs. The decider before the Cubs added the insurance run in the 8th. 3-1 the final. Cubs win it in game 1. Gonna sign off here for a few minutes, and my name is John Sports Bonanza John here on YouTube. Was on Kick here at Sports Kick John. I will be back with you here in about 30 minutes or so for the Red Sox and the Yankees game 1 on the live stream. And take a short break, and I'll see you back here for the Red Sox Yankees here in about